Now, do you guys remember the first watch that you've ever gotten? Might look something like this. Alright, your first watch might look something like this, right? This is more feminine, right? And your second watch, or some of your first watches, might look something like this. This has a nice leather strap and it looks pretty presentable. Well, my first proper watch looked something like this. This was my first proper watch. And yeah, now you might think of it as, it looks kind of ugly and unnecessary, right? Well, as a child, it was everything. It was like the Apple Watch of my childhood. You know, everyone in school, a silent way, a subtle way of how they would flaunt this particular watch is they would raise their hands to ask a question and they would twist their wrist like this to gain attraction, right? But to me, that all didn't matter. To me, what was important was that it told the time. It represented the hours and the minutes that passed. And that was all that was necessary to me. Time. It was so short yet so long. That means so much yet so little. Time is what captivates and gives us hope. Yet, it disappoints with despair. Time is a word that has so much depth and meaning that it's hard to define it in simple terms. You see, time is what encapsulates our whole reality, our whole existence. It affects us so profoundly, like the leash on a dog or the strong winds that blow against a flag, changing its direction or flutter. Yet, we rarely acknowledge its deepest valleys and hidden gold mines, which begs the question of misconception or sentient ignorance. You see, throughout history, time has mostly been referred to as a continued sequence of events that happens in an irreversible succession from the past through the present and into the future. And yes, most of us already knew this, right? Or do we? Sure, we all knew that 60 seconds is a minute, 60 minutes is an hour, and 24 hours is a day. This is known as linear time, and it's something that we were all thought about ever since we were little. Now imagine this, if someone were to come up to you and ask you to draw time, what would you draw? You might draw a watch or a clock ticking every second. Or you might draw a calendar representing each day of the year. And yeah, this is true, but bear in mind, these are just physical representations of time and how we humans perceive it. The thing is, time can't even be explained by the smartest people on the planet. So, that begs the question, why do we know so little of something that has such a monumental dependence on our reality? Now, Aristotle said that time is the most unknown of all unknown things, and he said this nearly 2,500 years ago. And guess what? It still stands true to this day. Now, Einstein, however, this guy, he said that time is an illusion and that it is relative. Now, I'd like to mention how understanding time can redefine our lives. You see, if we view time as a mere invisible force that tells us when to wake up, when to work, and when to socialize, now that's true, but it doesn't allow us to escape from the cocoon of life and redefine it. However, if we view time as a domain for which we could gain many opportunities and success by seizing every single chance that emerges, we can understand the gravitas of time, and this can redefine our lives in the long run, something people still haven't fully comprehended. I'd like to mention that understanding time, or our perception on time, results in outcomes of life, from the bad and the good. This could be as small as procrastination and contemplation to something as big as becoming a CEO. It all happens due to the insight, or our insight on time. Of course, you might debate about it and say there are other reasons which affect it. I understand that, but the one constant underlying reason is time. The one constant underlying reason is time and how we humans perceive it. You see, there's such a small emphasis on this matter that oftentimes we forget about it. Have you ever wondered why we feel as though time is slipping away and that we are losing it? Now, why do you think this is happening? Well, to me, maybe because we're wasting our time on trivial and redundant matters that don't benefit us in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it does the opposite. It prevents us from developing, progressing, and achieving our maximum potential. And because time is irreversible, once something has happened, it's gone in the past. And trust me, the last thing we want is to be laying on our deathbeds asking us the question, what did I do with my time? What significance did I bring to this world? Only to realize that it's too late and we've run out of time. So how do we make the best out of time that we have and reach the unreachable? To ultimately look back on our lives and feel satisfied with what we've accomplished, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. Well, there's only one answer to that, and I'm pretty sure you've all figured it out by now. We must be conscious of time. Still confused? Well, basically, be present in the moment. Take control of your life and be aware of the ticking of time. Don't live because you have to, live because you want to. You want to experience relationships and forge relationships stronger than steel. You want to reach the climax of life and worry less about what has happened in the past and what will happen in the future. Do things you enjoy and at your own pace, because life isn't always about the race, but rather it's a scenery in a marathon. Stop worrying too much about what other people think. Instead, appreciate yourself. Appreciate what you've accomplished your whole life. You see, this is the life we're not living. This is the life that's been forgotten. You see, not everybody will wake up at 6 a.m. and plan their day. Not everybody will fix their past mistakes to progression. Not everybody will cherish their time with loved ones. And what about those who do these things? Well, they're what you would consider the elite, or the minority, the kings and queens of today's world. And trust me, once we truly understand the significance of time, then only can we redefine our lives. I know, this all sounds a bit cliche and exaggerated, I understand, but trust me, if we succeed in this, we can initiate a chain reaction of events that will constantly elevate us, a reaction that will have such an impact on us that it could change the course of our lives for the better. We'll be able to be more aware of the ticking of time. We'll be able to broaden our horizon on the purpose of life, and we'll reflect upon our own self instead of worrying too much about what other people think. Sure, time will leave us with regret and sorrow, that's the inevitable, but what's important is that we always move forward and not become prisoners of our past. Only then can we achieve greatness and success. Remember to live in the present, not the past, not the future, and seize every single chance that presents itself, because life moves fast. If we don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. And trust me, the only way we can understand this is when we reach the end of our days, and this is when we look back on our lives and smile without a single ounce of regret. So, the next time you're given a task or an assignment, or simply if your mom asks you to throw away the trash, instead of procrastinating, contemplating, and pushing it to the side, remember what I've just told you. Think about time in that moment. Think about redefining yourself. And I can guarantee you, 100%, you'll be thanking yourself in the future. And heck, maybe time won't leave you disappointed with despair. Instead, it'll only give you hope and captivate you. Now, I would like to end, not in a conventional way, but in a way, or in the words of the one and only Master Zubayr. Quit, don't quit. Noodles, don't noodles. You're too concerned with what was and what will be. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. Thank you.